This is Fantasy Baseball Today from CBSSports.com.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to an exclusive presentation of Fantasy Baseball Today for CBS Local Sports. We're live every Monday through Friday at 12 Eastern Time with Fantasy Baseball Today, so we help you set your lineup. But right now, we're going to tell you who to start and who to sit in Fantasy Week 6. I'm Adam Aybar. Scott White does the hitters. Al Melchior's got the pitchers. Let's go with the starts. Scott, you're starting Victor Martinez.
I am, and I think this is when we all need to come around and realize just how good Victor Martinez is. He was a must-start for most of his career, and after a slow start last year, he's looking like that player to begin this year, batting at nearly 300, on pace for 25 homers. The Tigers, their matchups this week are probably the two worst rotations in baseball, the Twins and the Astros. So really, you could say it's a representative pick. You got to get Rajay Davis in there, Nick Castellanos, Torrey Hunter. They're going to be scoring tons of runs.
Nate Eovaldi has the Mets and the Padres. Mets at home, Padres on the road. Start him.
Start him, yeah. He will have those lineups. In fact, he should dominate them. Nate Eovaldi's been great consistently. Those are two really good matchups. Could mean a lot of strikeouts for Eovaldi, but he's just been very effective in general. Certainly a must-start guy with two starts. So I would take him over somebody as good as Garrett Cole if I was in a really shallow league where I didn't have room for both of them.
Erick Aybar has been hitting very well for the Angels, and that shortstop is a guy that Scott White says you should start this week.
Yeah, he is, and it's a position of need, shortstop being one of the weakest. Aybar, 459 in his last 9 games, and there's actually something you can point to as the reason it started. He made an adjustment from the left side of the plate. He wasn't able to drive the ball because he was crouched too low, so changed his stance, getting good results, and the matchups this week mean it should continue. Phelps, Nuno, McGowan, Happ, a lot of low-end a lot of pitchers who just a couple weeks ago weren't even in the rotation.
Yeah, and Jonathan NIESE, pitcher, was in the rotation for the Mets, pitching very well. It's another guy you should go with, Al.
You should. Two-start week, also just a no-brainer for NIESE. Not getting that many strikeouts, so as a one-start guy, you may sit him in some weeks, but when you can double up like that, you're adding strikeouts along with what's likely to be a very good ERA, a very low whip, because he's really not walking very many batters and has been pitching with great command for quite a while now. So NIESE is a safe start.
We go to the sits now, and Billy Butler is a recommended sit this week from Scott White.
And you've probably been looking for excuses to sit him, and I've been telling you not to.
Now you got it.
This is the week you have to sit him because a lot of interleague series, including one for the Royals. They're at San Diego, their first 3 games this week, which means no DH. Guess what Billy Butler plays? DH. He can also play first base, but I'm thinking since he hasn't done much of that this year, they'll stick with Hosmer there.
We never like to see a pitcher at Colorado. Robbie Ross has 2 starts at Colorado, home against Boston. Avoid him.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the only reason is that start at Coors Field. So this might not sound like a controversial call for a lot of fantasy owners because Robbie Ross, his last time out, got hit around very, very badly, gave up 10 runs. He's not highly owned in CBSSports.com leagues, but in any other week, especially any other two-start week, I would be telling you to start Robbie Ross because he gets a goodly number of strikeouts, a lot of ground balls. Control's been pretty good this year, so normally a reliable guy. Just the Colorado start scares me to death, so at least this time around, you can sit Robbie Ross.
Scott told you to start Erick Aybar. Here's a shortstop you don't want to start. That would be Everth Cabrera.
Yeah, we finally got an explanation for why Everth Cabrera hasn't been running like we expected him to, even with him hitting pretty well. And it's because his knee's not at 100% health. His manager, Bud Black, says that's the reason, and until it gets healthy, yeah, you might not be able to expect so many steals from him. Plus, the Padres, I don't like their matchups this week. Also, all 7 of their games are against right-handed pitchers. Everth Cabrera, a switch hitter, dramatically better against lefties than righties last season when he got to the value he is now.
And this last one, controversial, at least between me and Al. Shelby Miller, sit him?
I would definitely sit him, and I think it's probably a controversial call for a lot of people. But even though his results have been better the last 4 starts, we have yet to really see the Shelby Miller from earlier last season. We've seen a guy who has more in common maybe with the pitcher that we saw last September when he really struggled. Shelby Miller is not getting batters to swing and miss with regularity. His control is inconsistent at best. So I think there's a lot of problems right now with the way that Shelby Miller is pitching. He's gotten away with the last 4 starts. I don't think he's going to get away with it for much longer. So I think this is a good week to sit him, even with 2 starts.
Want to remind you to watch the live show, noon Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, fantasynews.cbssports.com. Read the columns, that same URL. Listen to the podcast, download the app, and go out there and get yourself a win in Fantasy Week 6. This has been an exclusive presentation of Fantasy Baseball Today for CBS Local Sports. Have a great weekend, everyone.